Good evening, everybody. Just come out for a lovely walk. It's a bit cloudy, a bit cool, but it's a lovely, lovely evening. Just come out to this nice area here. Got a few cows local to me here, which is nice to see. Lovely spot actually out here. I'm actually at Gatton Park, which is, I've just been reading about it, Capability Brown designed this estate and the sort of water features and stuff like that. So tying in, I suppose, how capable is your job searching? So I've said this before, but I just want to reiterate it to new people joining the groups, is that because I've seen a lot of people saying about, applying for hundreds of roles, and of course, there's nothing against that. Obviously, the more roles you get, the more chance you're going to have of getting an offer, getting a contract or a perm job, whatever you're after. But just be aware, of course, that you can be scattergunning, scattergun approach, spreading yourself too thin maybe. So especially true, I think, if you're in an area that's, maybe project management or business analyst, something like that. If you've got a sort of niche skill set, then you don't even have the opportunity to apply for 300 roles, because roles do not come up that often, that frequently. There's only, a role comes up and my phone rings, by about, five agencies will call me, for example, because they've got my CV. My CV is on their database. So that's when I know there's a decent role out there for me, because 5 people jump on the bandwagon and start calling me or emailing me. And it's funny because the ones that are not proactive will just send me an email. The ones who really spot my skill set will then follow it up straight away with a call, or they'll just call me first. And my usual etiquette when dealing with agencies is the first person that contacts me is the one that I'm going to allow to put me forward, with the proviso that they're not completely shit, right? So if they start fanning around, being very vague, or just start, waffling on about what do I really want from a role and where could I see myself in 5 years, or whatever bollocks like that, if they start going on about stuff, I want them to send me the spec and I want them to put my CV forward. That is what I want. That's all I want them to do, right? For a good agent to me is one that can give me the information I require fast. And then if I send them my CV, I want them to respond quickly and respond positively and put my CV forward as soon as possible and confirm back to me that my CV has been submitted to the client. That is what I want from an agency. And as we've touched upon, I also want feedback from that agency. If I do get forward to interview and maybe I don't get anywhere, then I want to know. I want that agency to be able to come back and say, yeah, they just saw a few stronger people, a few people with a bit more experience, or whatever it is, right? Or they hired someone internally, or whatever it is. I just want that little bit of feedback, because that's all you can use then, isn't it? If you get a bit of feedback, you can use it and maybe try and improve for the future. But yeah, so for me, applying for 300 roles or 200 roles or even 100 roles in a month, even in a year, is never going to happen. Never going to happen for me. So, but I spoke to someone the last week, I think it was, and they wondered why I'd said previously about not hitting the apply button. And the reason I say that, and I'll say it again for people in the group that haven't seen this, is that when you hit the apply button, you are going into that generic bucket of all those people that have hit the apply button. So if there's 100 people that have done that, then, now I don't know how that system works, but imagine 100 CV. Imagine if you're a recruiter and you get a summary at the end of the day that there's 100 people applied for that role, and you've got 100 CVs that have been uploaded there. Well, you've got to then go through all that. They've got to go through all that information. Whereas if you do what I always try and do is see if the job spec says the person's name, then search for them on LinkedIn straight away, because you're unlikely to have had their email address, their actual genuine email address in the post. And if you can, what you want to do is get their email address and look in their summary information. So you can send a connection request to them, and once you've sent them a connection request, you're going to get their email address, right? And so I just got to move. There's a tractor coming, or a big machinery thing. So look in the header information of the person that you're trying to connect to, because sometimes in their header or in their about information, or even if you scroll down to their latest job, their current position, it might say, John Smith, this agency, and it will give their email address. Just let us go past. Just. Nice quiet country walk, and a big JCB goes past. So so have a look on their profile and see if they've got their email address in their title somewhere, or in their about information, or a bit further down in their current role description. And if they've put their email address there, straight away fire them an email, attach your CV, say with reference to this job ID, because there'll be a job reference number. Here's my CV. I love the look of it. Please give me a call if you think I'd be suitable. Something like that. And that's what happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and then bang, I get a phone call back straight away and ask the agency to send me the spec. So I'll get actually the formal spec, which sometimes can be, as we all know, sometimes that can be like 3 lines, can't it? Sometimes it might be a page or 2. Have a definite good read of that, because sometimes I've found recently, a couple of the job specs I've seen have actually got information at the bottom of them that says extra things that we're looking for. So it's as if they've not remembered to take that off. And so what that means is, if at the bottom of that spec it says extra things we're looking for is team player, or someone who's, I don't know, confident, or whatever it is, right? They're extra bits of ammunition that I can use when I go and have that interview, aren't they? So think of it as like little extra tips that you've been given. So of course you want to come across confident, you want to come across knowledgeable and share your experience, and you want to come across, articulately and friendly and all that usual gumph. But just look out for that, because that's a nice little thing. Because sometimes you look at a spec and go, oh yeah, it's the same as it said on JobServe, and maybe you printed that off and haven't paid much attention to the job spec that is emailed to you. But always just double check it, because it might say some extra information on the bottom there. And again, put yourself in the shoes of the recruiter. If they receive even 10 CVs, right, they might then for a start, they're going to assess your CV, and you want a recruiter to say, wow, Dave, your CV's great. That's what you want. That's what I always want, if possible. And what if they've got 10 people and they then look at your LinkedIn profile just to have another look at you? So, there was the instance of someone in the group that doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, right? There's various instances I've seen of people where they've not got fully complete LinkedIn profiles. So, imagine if you're a recruiter, you see 3 or 5 people CVs, you think, oh, I'll have a quick look to see what Dave looks like on his LinkedIn profile, just to see, and it's just a complete mismatch, or it just looks like a real mess. They might not get in contact with you. They might get in contact with 3 other people. So please bear in mind, having a decent CV to get you the interviews, a LinkedIn profile to back up your CV. And if you're getting interviews, that's great, because you've got more chance of getting an offer. If you're getting loads of interviews but not getting offers, then it's down to something like your interview technique, maybe your confidence, how you come across. So again, I'll put a link in the comments below. If you want to have a free 15-minute chat with me, we can discuss anything at all. Just tell me where you are. I'll try and offer some assistance if I can, a bit of moral support, or if I think it's something like your CV, your LinkedIn profile, or if it's your interview technique, your confidence level, something like that. I'll basically just try and help in any way possible. Okay, so if that's of use, have a look at the link below. I wish you all the best. I'm going to finish off my walk now. See ya, have a good one.